Hi, boys and girls. It's Miss Manning here. I'm going to be teaching you Module 6, Lesson 2, where we're learning to construct a coordinate system on a pair. So when we're talking about a coordinate, or on a plane, when we're talking about this coordinate system, we're talking about this right here, or this is the plane, and the coordinate system is with those x, y coordinates. So we have to remember that the x-axis here is the horizontal one. So this is our x-axis. And the vertical axis is our y-axis. We also have to remember the origin is the point where the x and the y-axis intersect. That's right here. And the ordered pair for that, or coordinate pair, is 0, 0. The other thing is I will say ordered pairs, but it also is the same thing as a coordinate pair, and the x coordinate comes before the y coordinate. So the way I teach this in my classroom is we're going to start here at the origin, and we're going to go over to a friend's house, and then we're going to go up to their room. So for your problem set today, I don't want you to do number 1. You're supposed to have a set square so you can make that y-axis on here, and we don't have that for you at home. On number 2, I'm going to do the homework example, which is pretty similar to this one, so that way you can see what we're looking for here. Problem 2, they've given us the coordinates, and we have to identify what shape is at those coordinates. So we have an x coordinate of 2 and a y coordinate of 4 for our first one, so it's 2, 4. So I'm going to start at that origin. I'm going to travel over to my friend's house, 2, and travel up to their bedroom, 4, which gives me the circle. Then I have an x coordinate of 5 and a y coordinate of 4. So I start at the origin again, and I'm going to travel over to my friend's house, 5, and up to their bedroom, 4, which gives me this shape. So this shape is 4-sided, so I could list this as a quadrilateral. I could list it because it has 4 sides. I could also list it as a parallelogram or a trapezoid, actually, because it has those two sets of parallel sides. I could also list it as a rectangle because it has 4 right angles. I could also list it as a rhombus because it has 4 equal sides. So because this one here, I could also list it as a square because it has 4 right angles and 4 equal sides. But because this one looks like a square, I'm going to list this one as a rhombus. So you're going to continue to do that. Let's skip down to number 2. It says, which shape is 2 units from the x-axis? So here's my x-axis here, and it wants 2 units from that. So we're actually traveling up from the x-axis along this y-axis. And we're right here. Ooh, sorry for that terrible line. And that happens to be the star. And then it asks us for the shape that has the same x and y coordinates. So if I'm here, and I want my x coordinate to be 1, my y coordinate would have to be 1. And there's no shape there. And then I would go over to 2 as my x coordinate, so my y coordinate would have to be 2. And so what I can do, because I have 3 points, I could just extend this line out, following along that grid, and I've already found my shape. My shape is right here. And now let's double check its coordinates. It's 3, 3. And that would be our square. But again, we could put quadrilateral there, and we would be correct. We could put parallelogram there, and we would be correct. We could call that a rectangle. We could call it a rhombus, and we could call it a square. We're just going to call it a square because that is the most specific that we could call it. So it makes it so we don't get these 2 shapes confused. For problem set number 3, here's your guys' example. I'm going to go over to the homework one. Here they've given us the shape, and we have to identify the x and the y coordinate. The important thing to remember is that you're doing the x coordinate here first. This one's first. So we got to go to the moon. Not really. But what I would do is I would draw a line down that grid paper. Hopefully you'll do it straighter than I am. To the X coordinate and then over on the Y coordinate. So you can just follow that graph paper there. We've got to do the X one first. It's in between 2 and 3, so it's 2.5. And then the Y coordinate is 4. Now we're going to do the sun. So again, I'm going to draw that line extending down to the X coordinate, which is 4, and then over to the Y coordinate, which is 3. We're going to skip over to this cloud one. The cloud is right here. And the reason I want to do that is because I can't really draw down or over because it's on this y-axis. So what that means is if I was starting here at my origin, I wouldn't have traveled on the x-axis at all. So the only way to stay put here is to travel nowhere, which is 0. And then I would travel up to my own bedroom, 4.5. So that's what you're going to do there. I would suggest drawing those lines down so that way you can identify first the X and then the Y. Which two shapes have the same Y coordinate? Well, we're looking for shapes that would be in a line horizontally together. And I see at 2, it would be the heart and the star. That's my symbol for and. And the reason why is because the heart is at 1, 2, and the star is at 5.5, 2. So they have that same y-axis. Then we're going to go ahead and we're going to be plotting points. It wants us to plot an x at 2, 3. So we start at that origin, go over to their bedroom, or over to their house 2, up to their bedroom 3, and I would put an X right there. Then they want us to plot a square at 3, 2.5. So again, start at that origin, go over to their house 3, up to their bedroom 2.5, and then we're going to put a square right on that spot there. Hopefully your square has better right angles than mine did. And then you're just going to continue doing that. For problem set number 4, I want you to imagine this entire island is on a coordinate plane with our X and our Y axis, and then talk about how you would label it so that way you could easily identify this X on our whole island. For your exit ticket, you're going to be identifying the X and the Y coordinates of the shapes, and then you're going to plot two shapes on this coordinate plane. All right, guys, good luck.